Well, hello and welcome to this video. This is, I'm not going to lie, this is about my 5th or 6th attempt to make this video. I'm not having much luck with my cameras today. Both the GoPro and the Insta360 have been playing up. But here we go, 5th or 6th time lucky. So the premise of today's video is the top 5 things that made my journey from Victoria to Western Australia comfortable. In no particular order, just how I rated them, and the effect that they had on my overall comfort, and in my opinion made it that much easier for me to travel that 4,500 kilometers safely. So the first one I have to say is this helmet. It's a Shui GT Air 2, which has now been replaced by the GT Air 3. It's not an adventure helmet, it's a road helmet. I thought that would be better. Not having the peak would allow me to sort of cut through the air a bit better, be less of a strain on my neck, and it's super comfy. It's relatively quiet, which I'll touch a little bit more on. And back when we bought it, my wife and I bought the same helmet. We bought the built-in center systems for them as well. So it's got a built-in center, which is communications, hooks up to your phone, you can play music and podcasts, and that's all controllable on the bike as well. So you can just keep your hands on the bars and use the controls for the bike to control what you're listening to, or the volume in your headset, which is super helpful. And the battery lasts ages too. It's difficult to vlog in because, as it should be, the cheek cushions push my cheeks in, so it can be hard to articulate sometimes. But I'd rather compromise my ability to articulate than my safety. So yeah, my first one is my Shui GT Air 2. I did drop my helmet on the way over, so it probably does need to be replaced. It was a very gentle drop, but yeah, you can't really be too careful with these sort of things. So when I can afford to, I'll be looking to replace it with the GT Air 3, because I've got no reason not to go with this helmet again. The Shuis just tend to fit my head quite well, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The next thing was this jacket was amazing. So this is an Australian brand. It's CFMOTO, I think is how you say it. It's designed in Australia. I don't think it's made in Australia. It's got a removable hood, and it's got a removable liner. It comes with back protector. Actually no, I had to buy that separate. Elbow protectors, shoulder protectors, but it's just a super comfy, super warm jacket, and I find it to be incredibly waterproof, which on several days that I was riding, if you've watched my trip across Australia, you'll know that was super important. So I rate this jacket really highly. Probably an honourable mention goes to the mesh jacket I took with me as well, which is a Dainese. I can't remember what type of jacket it is, but I'll try and I might put it down on the screen below. But they were both excellent, but I wore this one for the majority of the time. I really like the fact that it's got wrist gaiters on it, so that extend and wrap over your thumb, so that your sleeves don't get pulled up, and this is a large and it fits me perfectly. It's nice and low, so your kidneys, but your lower back doesn't get cold. And yeah, just being able to remove the zip off the hoodie on those really windy days was great. To be able to zip it back on when it was just raining and I was stopped, and I could put a hoodie on just to keep the water from trickling down my neck, was awesome. So yeah, definitely rate this jacket. This was the third iteration of this particular jacket. I think they're up to the 4th generation of it now, and if I had to replace this one, I'd definitely buy the 4th iteration, which I believe also comes in a black and white one, which might be better because it's maybe a little bit more visible, even though it could possibly get a little bit more dirty. So yeah, that was this jacket is a ripper. The third item is kind of what I touched on with the helmet. It's something my wife got for me. They're the loop earplugs. I just keep them on the key ring for my bike keys, and these things are awesome because, well, you keep them on your keys, you don't lose them, but for me, they're the perfect fine line between reducing enough noise to reduce your fatigue, but still letting in enough that you're still aware of your surroundings completely. So, you know, particularly when I came into the big cities like Melbourne, Adelaide and Perth, I still had enough of an awareness. My ears were still picking up on cars coming up beside me and buses and trams and whatnot. So they seem to strike a perfect balance. I think I mentioned a couple of days on the trip when I was doing some long highway stints that maybe some more industrial earplugs would work a little bit better, but overwhelmingly these loop earplugs were fantastic. The other thing too is I think as a bit of a stitch up, Melanie bought me purple ones, which I think she did to embarrass me a little bit, but in the end it's worked out really well, because when you drop them and they say fall down somewhere within the bike, they're so much easier to pick up and to get out, as opposed to, you know, I think they offered a black one, which was probably what I would have gone for otherwise. So I still use these purple ones. I think they're great. So yeah, loop earplugs. Who'd have thought? Social media marketing worked on us. The other thing is my wife and kids got me some former low adventure boots for my birthday in January, and with the intent that I'd use them on this trip. And I was worried because I really wasn't getting on with them for a while, probably all the way up until the trip, and I just thought I was on the edge about whether or not I tape them or just wear my more casual street boots for the trip. And then in the end I was like, nah, this is probably a great opportunity to get used to them, decide whether or not they're right for me, and ultimately they do offer better protection than my street boots, especially around the ankle, so if I was to have a fall it wouldn't be as catastrophic. And lo and behold, I came to love these things. I wear them all the time now. So they do feel like they give my ankles better support. They're not as high, as they don't cover as much as my shins as what normal adventure boots or motocross boots do. so they're a little bit more like what I'm used to with the street type boots, but they're definitely much more solid. And I have to say, the jacket and these former boots were the standouts when it came to my clothes being waterproof on the days when I had absolutely torrential rain. So they were the bee's knees. And that sort of leads me on to the fifth and final product that made the trip really comfortable. And the fifth one was one of the things I bought specifically for the trip was some pannier bags. I got the Nelson Rig Hurricane pannier bags. I got them just before I left. I think they retail for about $3.99. I got them for $3.59. If you're familiar with the motorcycling world, that's a pretty reasonable price for a set of panniers. They fit straight onto the racks of my bike, which was good, so I didn't have to make any modifications. They were super secure. They come with like little tote bags that fit inside them, which I demonstrate in my day 2 video of the trip. And even though on at least 3 of the days I had torrential rain and strong winds, I thought for sure I was going to get to my destination and they would have leaked. They did not fail at all. They were completely solid the whole trip. Not a single drop of water got in, not once. So I never had to worry about, wet clothes, wet t-shirts, wet underwear, my toiletries getting wet. So they were absolutely fantastic. So for $3.59, I've been told there's some other people who I've mentioned them before. They commented that they didn't think they were very good value. I think they're good value. They worked really well. So I would recommend them, and I can't wait to use them again. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. It's a nice short one. I will see you in the next one. Hopefully I'll have some news about I'm having some difficulties getting the fuel gauge fixed again, and getting CFMOTO to fix the parts of the bike that were where obviously when they fixed the fuel gauge the first time, they over torqued some of the bolts and broke the fairing screws, particularly on these bits of fairings right here. No one's calling me back, so that's really poor. I called Team Moto and they said they were going to call me back after speaking to CFMOTO to see whether or not they could help me with it, and no one's called me back. So I guess I'll keep following that up, but pretty disappointing, I have to say. Alright, that's me out. I'll talk to you soon.